feel bad about having nothing interesting to say about Planet of Evil yesterday, so today I'm going to try and make up for that. Welcome to the Time Treadmill. I'm Ron, and these are my sweaty thoughts about Doctor Who. Where Planet of Evil spends the first half being a Forbidden Planet pastiche, the second half morphs into more of an homage to Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Although, kind of without the social commentary, which this is the entire point of that story, but that's neither here nor there. It definitely has a tonal shift at the midpoint, and I find the second half a little bit more enjoyable than the first half. Again, this is not a terrible story, it's just not one that makes a huge impression on me, which is kind of strange in that this technically would be the first true Holmes Hinchcliffe story. Although Robert Holmes took over as story editor and Philip Hinchcliffe took over as producer with the previous season, all of the stories in Series 12, from Ark in Space all the way up through Terror of the Zygons, which was originally supposed to be part of Series 12 but was held back to the beginning of this season, all of those stories were actually commissioned by outgoing producer Barry Letts. So starting with this story right here, Planet of Evil is the first story broadcast in which all of the scripts, everything to do with it, was completely commissioned and envisioned by Philip Hinchcliffe and Robert Holmes. That's pretty significant. Now, I do say first story broadcast because tomorrow's story, Pyramids of Mars, was actually the first story filmed for this season. But getting back to Planet of Evil, it's also significant as being the first story aired to feature the TARDIS control room since all the way back in the Third Doctor era in Death to the Daleks. The interior of the TARDIS was never shown at any point during Planet of Spiders, or Robot for that matter. And then, of course, last season, the TARDIS only appears very briefly at the beginning of Ark in Space and the end of Revenge of the Cybermen. And then it's basically off screen for all of Terror of the Zygons until the very end. And so this story is the first time we actually see the Doctor and his companion inside the TARDIS control room for darn near 2 years, and it's really nice to be back, although it is the classic original TARDIS control room with the white wall roundel setup, which is very comfortable and familiar and which will be changing sometime in the very near future. I'm trying to remember. Off the top of my head, I don't remember when the Doctor shifts to using the Victorian-themed auxiliary backup control room, but that's coming in the vaguely near future. The one other interesting thing about Planet of Evil has nothing to do with the story itself and has everything to do with the setting, mostly for the first half of the story, which is that producer Philip Hinchcliffe went to the set designer. He went to Roger Murray Leach and asked him, what kind of sets can you do best? And Murray Leach replied, well, I can always do a great jungle. And so when Hinchcliffe commissioned this script, he specified the use of a jungle location for most of the planetary side scenes. The jungle that Roger Murray Leach produced was phenomenal. It looks great everywhere it's on set. And it's so good, in fact, that the BBC brought in photographers to take pictures of the set and to use it as a guide for other set designers on how to design and construct a good jungle set. So that particular set lives on in BBC memory long after this story completed. So I guess that's something for this story to be proud of. But again, on the whole, I just don't find the story to be especially interesting. Again, it's not bad. Although it's written by the same author, it is certainly no Planet of Giants. And it's light years ahead of Day of the Daleks, another of his more recent stories. But it just doesn't really have that Holmes Hinchcliffe gothic horror vibe to it. It tries, you can see the hints of it, and all of the Jekyll and Hyde pastiche, all of the creepy jungle settings, those things, the themes are there. It just, for me, it hasn't quite gelled, and that's going to come in the very near future. Tomorrow I am back to physical media that I actually own with Pyramids of Mars, and hopefully it's better than I remember, because I remember not especially liking it, which is disappointing. Boy, how's that for a teaser to get you to come back eager tomorrow for more content? But there we have it. We take the stories we're given. I will see you tomorrow.